But what have you learned? Because when you develop in New York, you're around the best of the best, and you do in the Cellar and all that. What have you learned being around that level of comedian? Are there certain traits or work ethics or
work ethic for sure.
absorb?
Work ethic for sure. Because if you're a New York comic and you work at the Cellar and you're looking at Norman and Joe List and Roy Wood Jr. and all these great comics, Jordan Jensen, Caitlin Paloofa, all these great comics, you see like they're doing it every night. So you know that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Like you know that's like the going rate. The going rate for success is like comedy basically 5 to 7 nights a week. 2 to 5 times a night. That is the going rate in New York. So you kind of learn that quickly, like, okay, this is what I have to do. So you kind of position yourself in that. All right, this is simple enough. I just try to aim for this. So that's one thing. And then also, you get to see different people kill in different ways that you learn that just find your way. Like, you know, the way Attell kills is not the same way as, like, Roy Wood Jr. kills, but they both kill. But you learn like to find your way, but then you also learn like that you gotta like, it's New York, you gotta really bring it. Like those long, silent things, they ain't cutting it in a New York club. The club is gonna come up to you and be like, you know, or they're not even gonna come up to you. You're just gonna see yourself out of the lineup for no reason.
Ooh.
Yeah. Until you're like, you know, you establish yourself as like a person who can kill. But yeah, coming up, that's how it is. Like I always say, like you go to New York. That's the thing about, I think, the difference with like a scene like Austin, which is like a new scene that's bustling now, and they got a bunch of great comics there. But like in Austin, the great comics are like the top comics. It's like they're great, and then like the younger comics, it's a new scene. So they're like developing these younger guys that they're gonna be great eventually. But obviously they're just younger comics.
Right.
As opposed to New York, like when you go to New York, like the top guys are not necessarily the ones that are killing the best at the clubs. Like when you see Chappelle or Rock at the club, they're not killing like a guy who has no name that you'll see at the Cellar.
Right.
Like you'll see a no-name guy that you literally like, it'd be the no-name that you walk off like, what? Like how do I not know about this person? Like those are the guys. Like I remember in like 2014, I just started comedy and I went on a date to the Comedy Cellar and it was a crazy lineup. It was I know Will Sylvans hosted, Todd Barry, Hannibal Buress dropped in, and this is 2014 when Hannibal was like the king.
Yeah.
Hannibal Buress dropped in, Ali Wong, Andrew Schultz, Dave Attell, then Godfrey. That was the show. Amazing show. Everybody murdered. Obviously, I knew the big names. I knew Attell, I knew Godfrey, and I knew Hannibal, who they all murdered. But watching like Ali Wong and before anyone knew who she was, and Schultz, before anyone knew who they was, they were like the standouts where you were like, why don't I know these guys? Like, how are these guys not the biggest in the business? And eventually, a couple years go by and they become the biggest in the business. But it makes sense because when I saw them, I'm like, oh, these guys are like just next level murderers.